Jack, thank you very much. Sun Moon, Jack, Bruce, all the great staff that you have that creates this wonderful event. Thank you very much. And Jack, that's a terrific introduction. It's a lot more than I could say about myself. And I met Jack, by the way, when Williams College made the investment in NEA2. And not long thereafter, he says he drew the short straw. But Jack was the person that Morgan Stanley chose to go over and represent Morgan Stanley in Asia, starting with Tokyo. So he wasn't there for too long, and I had an occasion to go over to Japan, and I stopped in to see him, and they had a few hundred people in their office. I came back about 2 years later, and they had 2,000 people. And I mean, that's the way Jack is. He can make things happen the way almost nobody else can. And then a year or so later, he moved to Hong Kong, where he embraced all of China and did some groundbreaking alliances with Chinese companies that really helped to organize the Chinese financial system. So it's been a fabulous pleasure to get to know Jack, and as he said, Mac and Jack and I kind of run in the same circle, so we can stir a little dust up together. So I'm really proud to be here tonight and receive this award, and I'm particularly proud to have parts of my family with me, not all of them, but I have my graceful and woman of high character and standard, my wife Pat, with me. She made the decision to come to China. And I have our daughter Christina is over here. I can't see where she is. There she is, right there. She changed seats since the last time I saw her. And we have a nephew, Ian Roundtree, and our niece, Daphne Palmer, down there. So welcome to all of you. You know, the reason I'm particularly proud to be here tonight is because I think Asia, for the next 50 years, is going to represent for this country the most opportunities and the most challenges. And the relationship between these two countries and these two sectors of the world, I should say, are going to be, they're going to be complex. And there are going to be many times when we think either one of us is on the wrong side of the issue. And it's really up to us to collaborate and find those things that we can agree upon and set aside those things that we think we may not agree upon, but that are perhaps in the scheme of things less important. And we mentioned Ken Wilcox a little earlier. He's with the Silicon Valley Bank over there. He's doing great things for the Silicon Valley Bank. I happen to be lucky enough to be on their board. When we moved back from China, Ken said, you know, Dick, I really kind of like what you're doing over there. I think I'm going to come over and do the same thing. They formed the first alliance in China, got the first license since 1997 for a joint venture that's a 50-50 joint venture with the Shanghai Pudong Bank. And they're in the process of bringing Silicon Valley type thinking to the financial world in China. So it's a great thing, Ken, that you're here. And you made this trip especially for this. Thank you very much. So that's good. So that really concludes what I have to say, except I really think that the Asia Society, this is my one final thought, which was founded in 1956 by John D. Rockefeller III. And I was talking with Bruce earlier tonight about why this happened right then. And I think what Bruce told me, and I believe is the case, is that there was always been a lot of emphasis on Europe because most of the East Coast was founded by Europeans. And there was a noticeable skew in the way we looked at the world. If you drew a map of perhaps significance at that time in our history, it would be lopsided a little bit. But I think the Rockefellers had a far-seeing idea about incorporating Asia in a much more important and solid way. And I think that's what's happened, is that in the next 50 years, this is the century of Asia. It's really coming of age. We have only scratched the surface. And it's terribly important that we understand much more about the Asian cultures. I want to say my wife actually is sort of a refugee from Asia because she went over to Asia at the age of 3 and came back at the age of 17, having lived in Thailand, in the Philippines on 2 different occasions, and in Singapore and in Japan. And so part of the reason I think I use the word graceful is because of her sensibilities as they relate to the Asian culture. It was a fabulous dance that these girls did. I've never seen anything like that. So anyway, I really think the Asia Society represents a platform for collaboration and for growth. And so I'd like to say thanks to the Asia Foundation and thanks to all my friends and all of you here tonight. Thanks.